Hey, hello everybody, this is Jeff coming from Terrible People Gamers, bringing you another first-person replay audio commentary. This is the final boss in CN, the Dracolich. A few things about this boss. Enter in, make sure no one's AFK, because he's going to do a flame breath right when you walk in, and he will kill anyone that's not smart enough to move out of the way. Um, this boss is all about the control wizards, okay? Your job for the first 3 to 5 minutes or so is to keep the control wizards alive, and they are going to be picking up the mobs with singularity, shield bursting them and repelling them off and knocking them as far out as possible. Remember, it's better to knock all the mobs off and kill them than it is to not get them off at all, but the idea is you want to push them to the far wall and either up in the rafters or on the far wall so they're stuck, so that they don't continuously respawn, but you take them out of combat. That's the trick here. The name of the game. That's all you're going to be focused on, aside from throwing the occasional Astral Seal and Forge Master Flame on the boss to heal your, Rogue up or Guardian Fighter or Great Weapon Fighter. Otherwise, all you want to do is keep your Control Wizards alive so that they can continue on and push these guys off. Your Control Wizards should be communicating with each other, calling out singularities, who has push, who has repel, whatever. Um, that's an example of three control wizards not communicating, lifting them up, letting them drop. No one did anything because they all thought the other one was going to do it. So, again, it happens, but it's always better to see them knock them off the edge and have them all die than to let them survive, because the mobs start building up and it gets to be really, really tough. If you knock them up in the rafters, you can actually take a peek toward the door here, which will be coming up on your left-hand side, and you can see all the mobs congregated behind the door. They cannot re-enter combat that way. That's exactly what you want. As a cleric, you're going to be building up AP by sunbursting, preferably not when the singularity is up, because it sometimes causes problems, and dropping divine armor when people take damage. This boss has a couple of attacks, right? He's got a wing buffet attack that he'll use that if you get caught in can do about half your health and damage, as you see here. And then he's also got a flame breath attack that if you stand in, he will do all of your health and damage, as you see here. So pretty good for us to demonstrate that for you. We just did it for your benefit, of course, not because we were messing up. So, member goes down, right? You get a little low in health. Don't panic. Divine armor, Forge Master Flame, Astral Shield. People will use a potion. You will eventually get back up in health. Just things happen, right? People fall. Don't get flustered. Just kind of keep chugging on. Think about what the next move is to make sure that they don't fall again, right? So tag things with Brand of the Sun, because it builds your regenerate, or it builds your divinity up passively, and you don't necessarily have to worry about other things. So also, don't do what I just did and stop and type in the middle of the fight. It's extremely dangerous, especially later when the hands start coming. So we were talking about attacks. He had Wing Buffet. He has the Flame Breath, which we actually avoided that time, which is fantastic. He's also got this big kind of shadowy type fireball that he sends out that's really easy to dodge. It's a big red circle, very easily confused with the red wizard circle. Either way, you want to get out of it, so it doesn't really matter. And then he's also got a punch that he does for the melee characters. He just swats at them. And then the last big move that you really have to worry about is going to be hands, but that doesn't come until later. If your rogue is doing his job, you should never be facing his tail, because the tail will whip you and he will knock you off the edge. Then your teammates will just make fun of you. So again, try to avoid that whenever possible. So anyway, we're about, I guess 4 minutes into the fight or so, and we don't quite have all the mobs walled yet. To be honest, he's going to continue spawning mobs pretty much through half health. At half health, he drops another wit, so that's not a big deal. But as you start getting more and more of these mobs walled, and you have to contend with less things like, the archers hitting you for anywhere between 7 to 900 a pop. You're going to be free to have your control wizard switch over to single target damage, and they'll start burning the boss a little faster. The first half of the boss's health lasts a lot longer than the second half of the boss health. So, your control wizards are going to stay focused on ads. You're going to be able to get a little bit more liberal and start helping out your rogue a bit more. Mandor just got knocked away there. Waited for him to get close, drop Forge Master Flame. He's at full health. No one has to stress. If you can wall the archers, please do so, because 2 or 3 archers, or even 4 archers, shooting you for 700 to 900 a pop, really, really, really gets old fast, and it makes you have to work a lot harder. So your control wizard should be trying to knock those guys away. Don't attack the archers when you see them. They have relatively low health, and you need them to be able to survive the singularity and the push and the repel. And if you're doing sunbursts and brand of the sun and astral seals and forge master flames on them, they're not going to survive. It just won't work that way. So anyway, you can see here, this is what the push looks like when they get knocked onto the edge. The red wizard up there will still be able to cast on you, so you have to rotate around a little bit so that he doesn't drop fireballs and spawn skeletons on you the whole time. So eventually you'll start running out of real estate. Hopefully you start knocking these mobs off and getting them walled, and as soon as that happens, you'll just have a few spots that you can stand that you don't have to worry about mobs hitting you. So anyway, we're starting to feel pretty confident at this point. A lot of mobs are behind that door, you can see. A lot of them are caught up in the rafters. Some of them are knocked back to the walls, and we're feeling that we're not going to be having to do this much longer. So some of the control wizards are going to start switching over to single target spells here, and just the other ones are going to focus on getting rid of the remaining archers. This archer had too little health, so we decided to burn him down. There's no point in trying to singularity him and then have him die in the actual repel. So anyway, seals on the boss so that your rogue can continuously heal himself up. If you're feeling pretty good and feeling pretty confident, you can start dropping Hallowed Ground instead of saving it for Divine Armor. And around now, the boss starts dropping hands, which is really, really annoying. The hand, if it hits you, it's a lot like Grey Wolf Down, if you remember that. The hand comes up, knocks you straight up in the air, which does a ton of damage, and then you fall, and it does a lot more damage. And most of the time you die if you're not inside a blue circle or whatever else. I talked about it in an earlier video. If you dodge, you can dodge into the hands and avoid taking damage. Same thing here. As long as you're in dodge status, I guess, or dodge mode, the hands won't hurt you. So the boss is really great. He telegraphs his moves aside from the red circle. For example, if he goes up on his back legs, you know that he's going to do a flame breath even before the red bar appears. Head comes up, you know he's going to drop hands even before the hands appear. So you have quite a bit of forewarning. No excuse there. If he starts flying in the air and a big red circle appears, you know he's going to wing burst, and you shouldn't stand under him, but not all of us can be pro. So anyway, at this point we have pretty much all the mobs up. I think one battle wit spawns at half health always. It just doesn't seem to matter. So we're feeling pretty confident. We start goofing around a little bit, standing inside the wing buffet and dodging at the appropriate time so that we don't get hit. Again, as long as you're immune to the damage and the effect, there's no harm in standing here. So I thought I could survive by standing inside the circle. I just didn't have enough enough defense and resistance and health to make that live. I purposely went in there. I was giving another cleric crap the other day, saying that I could survive that. As it turns out, I can't survive all 4 pulses. I can survive 3, but not 4. Pretty tough. I don't know what to say. Anyway, hands come up here. Again, just real simple to dodge. Keep the shield on the rogue if you can. What it does is it affords you to your rogue to be a little more bold, like Mandor here, and instead of thinking that he needs to dodge, he can stay in and try and get a couple extra hits in, and he won't have any fear of dying. So anyway, fight slowing down quite a bit here. Here's the wit that I was talking about. Avoid the hands. This gets a little dangerous. If you're still trying to clear mobs and the hands are up, those singularities will pull the hands. Just like Repel will push the hands, Sunburst will knock the hands away. Really, really scary stuff. If you're feeling particularly cruel and all your mobs are cleared, you can try Sunbursting the hands into one of your friends. They might not stay your friend for very long after that, but again, it's at this point we're just kind of goofing off a little bit because all the mobs are behind the door that you can see, and it's just us and the boss telegraphs his moves enough that we don't really have to worry about, getting killed here. So actually, I don't think any of us even have res sickness on us at this point in the fight. Again, standing in the blue, the hands aren't as big of a deal, but sometimes he spawns hands 2 and 3 times in a row, which makes him a real pain. So getting hit by hands is never a good idea, even if you're confident you're going to survive. Also, getting hit by that battle wit is also not good. So, um, right. So singularity, pull him up, get rid of him. And we don't have to worry about him again. Forge Master Flame on the boss, so that Mandu gets healed up, and just kind of keep your eye on the party from here. No one should really die at this point, especially because all the hard work is done. Your control wizard should have all switched over to single target, and you can kind of stay close to the boss if you want, or stand just about anywhere as long as you're not on the outer rim. So if you're standing on the outer rim, again, some of the control or the red wizards will spawn skeletons or throw fireballs at you, and it's kind of nonsense. So in any case, save your astral shield if you want for areas that you think that are going to be tough, right? Like if you see someone taking a little bit of damage, you can heal them up. Otherwise, if you see them, and they look like they're about to eat a hands or a wing buffet, you can drop it, and it just helps. You don't have to drop astral shield all the time now. Uh, like here, I think I see one of my party members getting dangerously close to getting hit by hands, so I start watching him a little more because we all want to burn the boss as fast as possible, and moving out of the way takes up time. So in any case, at this point, it's a burn fight, very easy. Head goes back, dodge the hands, and just make sure you get him killed. Like here, I think I watched Chilled get knocked up, and I'm able to drop the shield down quick enough that it absorbs his land, so he doesn't actually die there. If if you're quick enough to get that done, it's awesome. Otherwise, if he died, you'd pick him back up, and we'd all be okay. So again, moving forward, if you dodge too early, you might miss the effect and get the damage, or miss the damage and get the effect. It's kind of strange. I dodged a little too early there on that wing buffet, and I took a lot of damage, but it didn't actually push me back. So dodge at your own risk. It's always safer to kind of stay away from the boss if you're not melee. So in any case, guys, that's the Draculith. I appreciate you guys sticking with me through the fight. Pretty easy to do once you get the right team and the timing down for the control wizards. The cleric's job is just to keep them alive. So it can be done with two solid control wizards. One really good control wizard is going to be able to do the fight without is going to be able to do the fight without being able to wall them. So he'll constantly be needing to knock them over. So anytime I watch this, by the way, I think of Lindra, and I'm like, you should have killed me when you were 4, bitch. When I was level 4, but anyway. So that's the Draculith. That's the last boss fight. Thanks for watching.